Meow, my friends. It seems China's military leadership is playing a game of hot potato corruption edition, where the potato is made of stolen yuan and bribes. The latest player to lose his grip? None other than Defense Minister Dong Jun, who's gone from commanding ships to potentially sinking his own career faster than you can say abandon ship. This naval veteran, appointed just last December, is Meow the third consecutive defense minister to face corruption charges in Xi Jinping's ongoing Operation Clean Sweep under the rug, a campaign that's been running since 2012 and is about as effective as using a feather duster to clean up an oil spill. Dong's predecessors, Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghu, have already walked the plank, expelled from the Communist Party for what officials vaguely call serious violations. Translation? They've been naughtier than a cat in a room full of unattended fish. Li lasted a whopping 7 months before being shown the door, while Wei barely had time to warm his seat. But let's dive deeper into this cesspool of corruption, shall we? The People's Liberation Army, or PLA as the cool kids call it, has seen at least 9 generals and several defense industry executives get the boot recently. It's like Xi's playing whack-a-mole with corrupt officials, but the moles are wearing military uniforms and have offshore bank accounts. And oh, the irony, the very people tasked with defending China are apparently more adept at defending their bank accounts. We're talking about bribery and military procurement that would make a used car salesman blush. Missiles found improperly maintained? Shocking, I know. It's almost as if spending more time lining your pockets leaves less time for, oh, I don't know, actual military readiness. Xi Jinping, in his infinite wisdom, once said, "The gun barrels should always be in the hands of those who are loyal and reliable to the party." Well, Xi, it seems the only thing these chaps are loyal to is the almighty yuan. Maybe it's time to change that saying to, "The gun barrels should always be in the hands of those who haven't been caught yet." But let's not forget the historical context, my friends. The PLA has been dabbling in business since the 1950s, blurring the lines between military duty and entrepreneurial spirit. It's like they took the art of war and turned it into the art of the deal. Who knew Sun Tzu's teachings could be so profitable? Now, you might be wondering, Ron, why should I care about some corrupt officials halfway across the world? Well, my dear viewers, this isn't just about a few bad apples in China's military orchard. This is about a superpower's military, potentially being as reliable as a chocolate teapot in a heatwave. Imagine, if you will, a world where China's military might is more myth than reality, where their shiny new weapons are about as effective as a water pistol in a wildfire. It's enough to make Taiwan breathe a sigh of relief and the US Pentagon scratch its collective head. Speaking of the US, poor Dong Jun couldn't even be bothered to meet with Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Was he too busy counting his ill-gotten gains? Or just avoiding awkward questions about where all that military budget went? The world may never know. But here's the kicker, folks. While Xi Jinping is busy playing corruption whack-a-mole, China's grand plans for military dominance by 2050 might be slipping through his fingers faster than sand in an hourglass. At this rate, they might achieve dominance in corruption investigations instead. It's like watching a high-stakes game of Jenga, where each corrupt official removed could bring the whole tower tumbling down. And let's not forget, corruption in the military isn't just a Chinese specialty. It's like the world's most depressing international potluck, where every country brings its own dish of graft and bribery. Ukraine's military, for instance, has had its fair share of corruption scandals. It seems the only thing more universal than warfare is military corruption. At this point, being appointed Chinese defense minister is less a job and more a brief stop on the way to a corruption investigation. It's like a twisted version of musical chairs, where the music is the sound of money being counted and the chairs are made of bribe money. But perhaps the real irony here is how these anti-corruption efforts might be destabilising the very military they're meant to clean up. Nothing says military stability quite like constantly investigating and replacing your top brass, right? It's enough to make Confucius roll in his grave. So much for those traditional values of loyalty and righteousness. Seems like the only thing these officials are loyal to is their offshore bank accounts. So what's the moral of this sordid tale? Perhaps it's that absolute power corrupts absolutely, or maybe it's just that greed knows no borders. Either way, it seems China's military leaders are more skilled at fighting for their bank balances than for their country. As we watch this drama unfold, one can't help but wonder, in the grand chess game of global politics? Has China just put itself in check? Only time will tell, my friends. But one thing's for sure, in the world of Chinese military leadership, it's not about who you know, it's about who you haven't been caught bribing yet. And on that note, if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the murky waters of Chinese military corruption, why not hit that like button? After all, unlike some Chinese officials, your support is something we can count on without an audit. That's all for now. I'm Ron DiParmejan, reporting for Newscats.